You are terrified of your own mind. When the screen goes dark and the room falls silent, a crushing weight descends. We flee into distraction because we cannot bear the company of our own thoughts. This is not mere loneliness. It is self-abandonment. But there is an antidote. By the end, I will reveal the exact mental fortress Epictetus constructed to turn isolation into absolute power.
We will dissect this crisis in 3 stages. First, the modern plague of hyperconnection that breeds inner emptiness. Second, the Stoic mastery of the ruling faculty to conquer isolation. And finally, a daily regimen to forge unshakable self-reliance. But the ultimate revelation, the precise mechanism to transform silence from a torment into an impenetrable sanctuary, awaits you at the very end of our journey today. Look around. The world is a cacophony of endless noise, designed meticulously to sever you from your own spirit. We wear headphones like armor, dreading the moment the battery dies. Why? Because without external stimulation, we are forced to confront the neglected ruins of our internal landscape. We have traded the hard work of self-mastery for the cheap comfort of constant, meaningless, and hollow distraction. This perpetual flight from silence is destroying your capacity for profound thought. When you cannot sit alone in a room, you become a slave to external validation. You outsource your peace of mind to an unpredictable world. The moment you are left alone, anxiety surges. This anxiety is not a disease, it is an alarm bell. It signals that your internal compass is completely shattered. Seneca observed this tragedy 2 millennia ago, noting that a man who cannot endure his own company is a miserable creature. We are surrounded by crowds, yet profoundly isolated. The paradox of our age is that infinite connectivity has birthed unparalleled spiritual destitution. You seek refuge in the digital noise, hoping to drown out the quiet, persistent voice of your own unfulfilled potential echoing within. You feel this emptiness during the quiet commute, in the moments before sleep, when the facade drops. The relentless pursuit of external stimuli leaves the soul impoverished. We are starving for substance while gorging on trivialities. The tragedy lies not in being physically alone, but in being entirely vacant when alone. We have forgotten how to inhabit ourselves, leaving our inner citadel abandoned to invaders. This internal void creates a desperate dependency on others. If you require an audience to feel significant, you are a hostage. Every relationship becomes a transaction to extract validation, rather than a union of whole individuals. You cling to toxic friendships and hollow romances simply because they offer a temporary shield against the terrifying silence of your own unexamined life. It is a cowardly existence. Society profits from your inability to sit with yourself. A mind at war with solitude is a consumer desperate for a cure. They sell you endless entertainment, promising connection, but delivering only deeper isolation. You consume ravenously, yet remain hollow. The noise is a numbing agent, a localized anesthetic for the soul, preventing you from diagnosing the true malady that festers in your quietest moments. Consider the sheer tragedy of fleeing the one companion you are guaranteed from birth until death, yourself. If you despise your own company, how can you expect others to cherish it? We meticulously curate our external appearances while allowing our internal architecture to rot. The result is a fragile ego, easily shattered by criticism, utterly incapable of weathering the inevitable storms of a chaotic universe. True solitude is not a punishment. It is the ultimate proving ground. Yet you treat it as a prison sentence. When a Friday night yields no plans, panic ensues. You scroll endlessly, seeking a dopamine hit to bypass the discomfort. But this avoidance only strengthens the anxiety. You are feeding the monster of dependency, making the eventual reckoning with yourself infinitely more painful and devastating. We must stop equating isolation with deprivation. The unexamined life, as Socrates warned, is not worth living. Yet examination requires silence, space, and courage. By rejecting solitude, you reject the only laboratory where true wisdom can be synthesized. You are living on the surface of existence, skipping like a stone across a deep lake, terrified of sinking into the profound depths of your own reality. This frantic escapism leads to a profound betrayal of the self. You sacrifice your authentic voice to echo the opinions of the mob, simply to belong. Without the anchor of self-knowledge, forged in quiet introspection, you are adrift. Every passing trend, every outrage sweeps you away. You possess no firm center, no immovable core, because you have never dared to construct one in the silence. The pain of loneliness is merely the friction of a misaligned mind. It is your soul demanding attention, begging you to turn inward. But we ignore the plea. We drown it in alcohol, in superficial chatter, in the relentless glow of screens. We are suffocating our own intellect, denying our reason the space it needs to stretch, breathe, and align with the cosmic order of things. If you do not conquer this fear of solitude now, it will conquer you. Aging will inevitably strip away the crowds, the distractions, and the noise. When the parties end and the social calendar empties, what will remain? If you have not built a sanctuary within, you will find yourself stranded in a desolate wasteland of your own making, entirely defenseless against the encroaching silence. But here is where the story takes an unexpected turn. What if the very silence you flee is the only forge capable of tempering your spirit? What if the ancients did not view isolation as a curse, but as a tactical advantage? The paradigm must completely shift. Solitude is not an empty room. It is a heavily armed fortress, waiting for its rightful commander to return. Enter the Stoics. They understood that the mind is the ultimate battleground. Seneca famously wrote that to be everywhere is to be nowhere. He practiced profound solitude to cultivate his hegemonikon, the ruling faculty of the soul. The Stoic does not retreat from the world out of fear, but withdraws strategically to repair his armor, sharpen his reason, and realign his judgments with universal nature. We must strictly apply the dichotomy of control. You cannot control the absence of others, but you possess absolute dominion over your judgment of that absence. Epictetus taught that it is not isolation that afflicts us, but our toxic opinions about isolation.
We categorize it as a misfortune. The Stoic strips away this false judgment, recognizing solitude merely as an indifferent external, an adiaphora. When you are alone, you are forced to engage with your own logos, the divine spark of reason within. Marcus Aurelius commanded himself to retreat into his own mind. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul, he wrote. This is not escapism. It is the ultimate confrontation. It is the active, rigorous cultivation of arete, or absolute moral virtue.
The untrained mind views a quiet room as a vacuum, rushing to fill it with noise. The Stoic mind views it as a canvas for prosoche, vigilant attention to one's own thoughts. Without distractions, you can finally observe the mechanics of your desires and aversions. You become the watcher at the gates of your own mind, examining every impression before granting it entry into your inner citadel.
Do not confuse this with mere relaxation. Stoic solitude is strenuous labor. It is the practice of premeditatio malorum, anticipating future adversities. In the silence, you visualize betrayal, poverty, and death, not to induce despair, but to immunize the soul. You practice dying every day, so that when fate strikes, you remain unshaken. Solitude provides the sterile environment necessary for this intense psychological surgery. Apatheia, the freedom from irrational passions, cannot be forged in a crowd. It requires the deliberate severing of external inputs. When you detach your well-being from the applause of others, you become invincible. Chrysippus argued that the wise man lacks nothing, yet has need of many things. The fool needs everything, yet possesses nothing. True wealth is an impenetrable mind, completely self-sufficient and undisturbed by the silence.
Remember, loneliness is craving the presence of others. Solitude is reveling in the presence of yourself. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, discovered his philosophy only after a devastating shipwreck stripped him of his wealth. Alone in Athens, he found refuge in a bookseller's shop. He realized that the destruction of his external life was the very catalyst required to build his internal empire. To embrace amor fati, the love of one's fate, you must first learn to love the quiet moments fate assigns you. If you despise the silence, you are at war with reality. The Stoic welcomes isolation as a divine assignment, a test of character. It is an opportunity to practice fortitude, patience, and self-reliance. You must view an empty room not as a void, but a gymnasium. Consider the concept of officium, your duty to yourself. You cannot fulfill your duty to humanity if you are internally shattered. By mastering solitude, you forge a stronger, more resilient citizen of the cosmopolis. A person who is comfortable in silence becomes a pillar of strength for others during chaos. Your internal stability, cultivated in isolation, becomes a profound gift to a frantic, terrified world. We must stop being beggars for attention. Epictetus ruthlessly mocked those who surrendered their minds to anyone they happened to meet. When you cannot be alone, you hand over the keys to your hegemonikon to the crowd. You let their opinions dictate your tranquility. Reclaim those keys. Lock the gates. The inner citadel must be defended with lethal precision against the relentless siege of external validation. Solitude
reinforces the ultimate accountability. There is no one to blame in an empty room. No co-workers to criticize, no politicians to curse. There is only you and your judgments. This is terrifying for the coward, but exhilarating for the philosopher. It is the moment you stop playing the victim and assume absolute, unyielding responsibility for your own spiritual condition. You become your own sternest judge.
Seneca advised Lucilius to consort only with those who would make him a better person. But what if there is no one around? Then you must become that person for yourself. You must split your consciousness, one part acting, the other observing and correcting. You become both the sculptor and the marble. The chisel of reason strikes away the excess, revealing the virtuous form hidden within.
This requires memento mori, the realization that you will face death entirely alone. No one can cross that threshold with you. If you cannot endure an afternoon of quiet reflection, how will you endure the ultimate, absolute isolation of your final moments? Practicing solitude is rehearsing for death. It strips away the superficial dependencies, ensuring that when the end comes, you face it with a sovereign mind. Living according to nature means recognizing that humans are social animals, yet endowed with autonomous reason. True sociability requires a foundation of profound individuality. You cannot truly love humanity if you are desperately using them to flee yourself. The Stoic enters society not to extract comfort, but to contribute virtue. And that virtue is mined exclusively in the dark, silent caverns of intense personal solitude.
Epictetus stated, "When you have shut your doors and darkened your room, remember never to say that you are alone, for you are not alone. But God is within, and your genius is within. This genius is your rational soul. To be alone with it is the highest privilege. It is an audience with the divine spark. Why would you flee such royal, magnificent company?" We must actively reframe our vocabulary. Banish the word loneliness from your lexicon. Replace it with self-companionship. When the weekend arrives with no obligations, declare a victory. The universe has granted you a rare, uninterrupted audience with your own character. Do not squander this profound gift by scrolling through the fabricated lives of strangers. Stand firm, face the silence, and begin the rigorous work of philosophy. Wait. What comes next is what few truly understand. Philosophy without action is merely dead words on a page. The Stoics despised intellectual vanity. Knowing these concepts is useless unless they are hammered on the anvil of your daily routine. We must transition from theory to brutal, uncompromising practice. How do you actually survive the deafening roar of your own quiet mind, starting tonight? Tomorrow, when you wake up, do this. Leave your phone in another room. For the first 20 minutes of your day, embrace absolute silence. No music, no podcasts, no artificial input. Sit on the edge of your bed and confront the raw, unedited state of your mind. Practice prosoche. Watch your thoughts race. Do not judge them. Merely observe the chaos and slowly command order. Next, engage in forced digital starvation. Designate 1 hour every evening
as the Stoic sanctuary. Disconnect the router. Power down the devices. Confine yourself to a room with nothing but a pen and a journal. Write down everything that terrifies you about the silence. Dissect your anxieties using the dichotomy of control. Separate what is up to you from what is entirely in the hands of fate.
When the urge to seek distraction hits, do not flinch. Lean into the discomfort. Epictetus advised that we must endure the winter training. This is your winter. When anxiety spikes because no one is texting you, recognize the absurdity of your distress. Say aloud, I am an independent, rational being, and my peace does not depend on the electronic validation of others. Hold the line.
Transform your physical environment to support this mental siege. Curate a space dedicated solely to philosophical reflection. No screens allowed. Fill it with texts from Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. When you enter this space, you are stepping onto sacred ground. It is an arena for the mind. Train yourself to associate this specific location, not with the pain of isolation, but with the power of self-mastery. Practice the art of solitary wandering. Walk without a destination and without headphones. Let the rhythm of your steps synchronize with your breathing. The Romans called this solvitur ambulando. It is solved by walking. Use the rhythm of the physical body to untangle the knots in your ruling faculty. Observe the natural world and remind yourself of your small yet vital place within the grand cosmic order. Stop using other people as emotional crutches. Before calling a friend to vent about a minor frustration, pause. Ask yourself, can I resolve this internally using my own reason? Do not outsource your emotional regulation. By constantly leaning on others for petty grievances, you atrophy your own spiritual muscles. Bear the weight yourself. Prove to your own mind that it is capable of carrying its own burdens. Finally, conduct a nightly review. Marcus Aurelius did this religiously. Before sleep, interrogate your actions. Did I flee from myself today? Did I surrender my tranquility to the noise? Do not offer excuses, only objective analysis. Forgive your failures, but demand better for tomorrow. This nightly communion with your own conscience is the ultimate expression of taking radical responsibility for your inner citadel. To truly grasp the power of self-companionship, we must look to the winter of 46 BC. Cato the Younger, the uncompromising Stoic senator, found himself in Utica, North Africa. The Roman Republic was collapsing. Julius Caesar's absolute dictatorship was imminent, his armies marching relentlessly toward Cato's position. The cause of liberty was lost. Cato's allies were scattered, panicked, or dead. He was profoundly, devastatingly alone. Yet Cato did not despair. He did not seek the superficial comfort of sycophants, nor did he drown his anxiety in wine. He understood that his final stand was not against Caesar's legions on the battlefield, but against fear within his own mind. Cato prepared to demonstrate the ultimate Stoic principle, that a virtuous man can lose the entire world, yet remain perfectly intact and free. On his final night, Cato hosted a dinner. He discussed philosophy calmly with his companions, ensuring their safe passage out of the city. He then retreated to his private chamber. He did not ask for company.
He required no audience for his final act of defiance. He dismissed his son and servants, choosing absolute isolation to face the ultimate test of his philosophical training. Alone in his room, Cato took up a book. It was not a tactical manual, but Plato's Phaedo, the dialogue concerning the immortality of the soul and the death of Socrates. He read it not once, but twice, deep into the night. In the profound silence of Utica, facing imminent destruction, Cato found his greatest companion in the wisdom of the ancients and his own unshakable reason. He noticed his sword was missing from his bedside. His concerned friends had removed it. Cato, maintaining perfect apatheia, demanded it be returned. When his son hesitated, Cato struck a slave, injuring his own hand, demanding his weapon. He famously declared, "Must I be stripped of my arms and handed over to Caesar, unable to defend myself?" He demanded sovereignty over his own fate. When the sword was brought, he felt the point, satisfied that his final exit remained within his control. He then slept so soundly that his snoring was heard by the anxious guards outside his door. Consider the staggering magnitude of this tranquility. Hours from death, entirely isolated, his empire falling, Cato slept the peaceful sleep of a man who had entirely conquered his own mind. He awoke before dawn, in the ultimate act of Stoic self-determination. Rather than live as a subject to a tyrant, Cato drove the sword into himself. He botched the attempt due to his injured hand. His physician rushed in to sew the severe wound. But Cato, fully conscious and utterly resolved, physically tore open the stitches, choosing honorable sacrifice over a severely compromised life. Cato's isolation in Utica was not a tragedy. It was his apotheosis. He proved that when the external world is violently stripped away, the inner citadel, forged in the crucible of solitude, remains invincible. He did not suffer in his aloneness. He triumphed through it. He became his own best company, demonstrating that true freedom is found only when you are entirely dependent on your own virtue. We finally return to Epictetus's mental fortress. His ultimate secret? Relentless, radical self-interrogation. In solitude, he demanded of every stray thought, "What is this to me?" If an impression fell outside his direct control, he ruthlessly dismissed it as absolutely nothing. If this reflection moved you, subscribe. Tomorrow, we dissect Marcus Aurelius's nighttime routine. The bell ensures you don't miss it. Will you face yourself?